To be honest, this video has way more juicy info than what you clicked for, because not only are we diving into the full banner lineup from version 5.8 all the way to 6.3, but I've also cracked a crazy new pattern that HoYoverse is using. Combining this with our previous method, we can just predict future banners with some scary accuracy. On top of that, we've got confirmed details about Columbina's release date, plus sneak peeks at the new characters coming in 5.8 and 6.0. But wait, it gets crazier, because after putting all of this together and hearing what HoMDGCat had to say, even my wallet is sweating. HoYoverse isn't slowing down. They're lining up banger after banger, and every patch looks more tempting than the last. So before you throw your primos on whatever banner's up right now, you need to see what's coming. That way, you won't end up missing out on a game-changing 5-star 1 or 2 patches later. By the way, we are hosting a 10 Welkin Moon giveaway at 25,000 subscribers, so if you want in on it, it's super simple. Subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment down below. The more you speak, the higher your chances of being noticed. And now with Skirk just a day away, I want her, you want her. Let's be real, we all want her. But to be honest, topping up can get expensive. That's exactly why I've partnered with Ldshop. We're working together to bring you some of the best discounts out there. Right now, you can get up to 23% off all your Skirk top-ups, and that's not even close to all they have to offer, because if you spend over $80, you'll get to choose a Welkin or its equivalent in 3 other games. Have you seen any other platform do that? So far I haven't, but to be fair, I started using Ldshop not just for the savings, but because they're safer and more trusted than any other top-up source I've ever used or partnered with. You could be saving up to 30%, and all they need from you is your UID and server. That's it. So what are you waiting for? Use my link in the description and pinned comment. That way, you will get an 18% and a 5% coupon to use on your next purchases. Now to make sure you walk away fully satisfied, I'm not just going to list the upcoming banners. I'm also going to break down the reason behind each one. Trust me, by the time I'm done, you're going to find it really hard to argue with this logic. Let's start things off with version 5.7. Now yes, it's already been officially confirmed by HoYoverse, but I still want to shine a spotlight on the 3 major factors that determine this banner lineup and why the prediction was right. Once you see how it works, you'll understand exactly how Hoyo plans their reruns, and maybe even guess what's coming next yourself. 5.7 is kicking off with Skirk and Shinne in the first phase, followed by Mualani and Emily in the second. Now come look at this, because this next part is where things get interesting. You see, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that the main DPS characters in this version are Skirk and Mualani, right? But here's the twist. Neither of them uses energy recharge. Yup, both run on 0 energy, literally. Now if we go and look at the upcoming Spiral Abyss blessings, they're practically love letters to Skirk and Mualani. The first blessing straight up says, when the character has 0 energy, their damage is increased by 75%. Like, come on, that's more of a Mualani blessing than an Abyss blessing. HoYoverse isn't even being subtle at this point. They basically handed her the VIP pass for floor 12. And the second blessing, cryo normal attack damage is increased by 75%. That's a direct buff to Skirk. No interpretation needed. So what did we just learn from all that? Simple. The Abyss is low-key snitching on the banner order. Yup, by analyzing the blessings, we can actually get a solid hint at who's coming next. It's a pattern HoYoverse can't break, as they actually have to make the Abyss favor the current banner characters. Simple business gimmicks. But that's not all, because there's another juicy pattern I noticed. Genshin's been rerunning supports before their paired DPS. Think about it. They dropped Escoffi before Skirk, and now we've got Emily, who conveniently looks like the setup unit for someone big coming soon. Suspicious? Definitely. And don't worry, there's more sneaky insight like this coming up, so stay sharp. Now, with all that said, let me just rip the bandage clean off and show you the most accurate 5.8 banner lineup we have so far. Buckle up, because things are about to get very real. First up on the list, we've got Citlali. And honestly, her appearance in 5.8 is about as guaranteed as us hitting 25,000 subs this month. Here's why. Not only is she Mualani's best support, but HoYoverse has a habit of making sure every regional character gets their rerun before we move on to a new region. And with a little search telling us that Nod Cry is not part of Nutlan, the clock's ticking. On top of that, there's Genshin's classic 4 to 6 patch rerun rule for new characters. Citlali first dropped in 5.3 and 5.8 is patch number 5 since her first debut. Everything just clicks, like the way you clicked that subscribe button. So yeah, Citlali is locked in for 5.8, no conspiracy theories needed. Now it's time for that extra set of juicy news I promised earlier. Yup, a brand new Electro character is making their debut in version 5.8. Here's what we know so far. She's a support type, wields a catalyst, and comes with a fresh, stylish new weapon, which, according to Citlali leaks, is also getting a weapon skin. So yeah, she's not just coming to zap, she's coming to slay, literally and fashionably. Now, while her banner phase hasn't been officially confirmed, let's not forget HoYoverse's usual behavior. New characters almost always drop in the first phase of any patch. So you'd think I'm about to say, yeah, so an Electro character is probably in phase 2. But nope, you'd be completely wrong, because this is where secret number 2 comes into play. In version 6.0, we're expected to get a tall male Electro DPS. And this, it doesn't just confirm the support before DPS cycle Genshin's been following lately, it also completely shuts down the idea of an Electro unit like Clorinda popping up in 5.8 second phase. So who is coming in that slot? Well, it's honestly simple, Chaska and Mualani. Why? Because out of all the Notland characters we've seen so far, these two haven't had a single rerun since their debut. That alone makes them top contenders, and based on the rerun patterns we've studied, I'm ready to say with 90% confidence that, yep, these are your phase 2 picks for 5.8. Now with that out of the way, let's look ahead to 6.0. Like I mentioned earlier, the tall male Electro DPS is already taking up the first phase spotlight. His name? Still under wraps. His weapon? Also unknown. But what we do know is, he's tall, he's Electro, and he's a DPS. And if you ask me, he might just be Dainsley finally stepping into the light. But hey, that part's just my speculations. So don't go betting your primo gems on it just yet. So, who else can we expect in 6.0? That, my friends, is a very simple question, and I've got a very spicy answer. You see, if you didn't manage to snag Mualani, then odds are you're probably eyeing Arlecchino, especially if you pulled Citlali in 5.8. Remember what I said earlier? HoYoverse loves to drop the support before the DPS, and guess what? That combo screams Arlecchino in 6.0. Still not convinced? Then let's rewind real quick. Emily is dropping in 5.7, and she's a top-tier support for burning teams. Now, be honest with yourself. The first person who comes to your mind when you hear burning is probably Arlecchino. It's a fun way to get more damage out of her already massive damage output, and to be honest, if Arlecchino wasn't the person who popped up in your mind, then I don't know who will. Moving on, we'll have to do a quick recap. If you watched my previous video, then you'd remember that I said something truly crucial. If you didn't, then let me quickly let you in on that secret. You see, Genshin never runs a patch with full female characters back-to-back. If 5.0 was fully female characters, then I can bet my whole Genshin account that the patch afterwards would include at least one male character. That said, version 5.8 banner seems to fully include female characters, so we can expect at least 1 to 3 male characters in 6.0. Although the new Electro DPS character breaks that cycle, I truly can't see it as enough. We have to actually slap a male character, and to be honest, there are many of them queuing up for this slot, so how do we decide? That's easy. We simply look into the character who is furthest away in their last rerun and has made a decent amount of money. Cutting straight to the point, it doesn't take a genius to know that Neuvillette stands out tall as the most wanted and highest money bank for the game. I didn't choose Zhongli because he is an Archon and simply has a slot in the Archon rerun. Speaking of Archon reruns, the last slot is saved for Archons, and with Mualani, Farina, and Raiden getting their rerun just recently, we can expect Nahida to make a return due to her being the longest person waiting for a rerun. With that, version 6.0 is fully covered. Let's look into 6.1. Starting right off with the Archon rerun, here I wish to expect Farina due to her nice versatility, demand, and her simply going well with Neuvillette. For the second slot, we can expect the rerun for Clorinda. Why? Simply because Nahida and the new Electro support character debut before her, it really is just expected to see her returning to complete the Electro feast. But well, of course, you can't hear the word feast without adding Verisa into the equation. At 6.1, it'd have been exactly 5 patches since her last rerun. Seeing her again wouldn't be so surprising. And finally, for the last spot, this is where I share another secret. You see, in the 6.1 second phase, a new 5-star pyro female character rumored to have a similar kit to Escoffier will be making her debut. Not so much info is known about her right now, but don't worry, I'll update this all as soon as more info is out. So with that said, we can expect her to fill the last slot in 6.1. Now, when we start moving on to version 6.2, it seems that things get very blurry. The two things we are 100% certain of are the fact that an Archon will appear in this patch, probably Venti or Raiden. But aside from that, we are getting a Pyro DPS male character who is rumored to be a Vaporize carry. I mean, it all makes sense when we look at the support before the DPS cycle that HoYoverse has been following recently. That said, the next two characters would be quite hard to guess, but if I had to put it into the best perspective, then I'd say we can expect old characters like this guy and Nilu to make their appearance if and only if a Sumeru Chronicle banner doesn't happen beforehand. Now for the special moment, we have 6.3. Now it has finally been confirmed that Columbina will be a Hydro female and main DPS character, and speculated to use the medium female model and a catalyst. Key word on speculated. To be fair, I wouldn't be shocked if she was using a catalyst, but I guess time will tell. For the second character in 6.3, we can expect a new Anemo female character who specializes in Swirl Bloom teams, and is speculated to use the tall female model. Once again, speculation plays a big role in the model size here. One thing we know is that we can expect an Anemo female in 6.3. Now with all that said, I really shouldn't try and attempt the remaining 2 characters as I cannot bring myself to give you unconfirmed information. That said, I'd love to know what you plan on doing. Are you thinking Columbina or still loyal to Neuvillette? Let me know down in the comment. The more you speak, the more I'll notice you for all my giveaways. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.